King of the Hill is one of the greatest sitcoms of all time. Every joke is well fleshed out. Subtle humor brings out the best in each character. Or how about Mike Judge's expert deconstruction of psychology? Some episodes demonstrate the outcomes of toxic masculinity, while others illustrate the harmful effects of selfishness. Today, we are going to dissect the episode Stress for Success. Bobby competes in academic competitions using information about celebrities. His unique talent lets him destroy his adversaries. Once the pressure begins to mount, our hero falters. He starts experiencing anxiety, paranoia, and eventually panic attacks. A lot of parents don't fully understand the stress of academic pressures. King of the Hill demonstrates these struggles in a more relatable way. Media is something we are all very familiar with. Imagine that your future is dependent on the amount of knowledge you have about mainstream culture. Forgetting a single actress, writer, chef, or musician means your options for opportunity are potentially cut off. Everyone in the audience can immediately empathize with Bobby's pain. Ultimately, this is an episode for parents more than anyone. Stress for Success is meant to build sympathy towards characters like Connie. Academia is a growing part of the expectations in the workforce. Managing all the stress that comes from schooling in a healthy manner is essential. Parents who create a safe and loving environment for their children can make a big difference. So today, I want to break down the psychological pressure of schooling using Bobby's story. If you enjoy this video, like and subscribe so you always see my latest content. Getting an education is so essential to our development. When a person acquires more perspective, they become well-rounded. Unfortunately, there is a narrowing definition of what it means to be educated. Companies would jump for joy at Connie's proficiency in math. But isn't Bobby's skill valuable as well? One of my favorite messages in King of the Hill is that every talent has a place. For example, Peggy's art is mocked when presented to an art museum. This same art inspires the people of Ireland because her pieces have relevance in their lives. We all hold value in some shape or form that makes other people happy. Tom Landry Middle School desperately relies on Bobby's talent. Already, we are off to a good start with the messaging. Now let's switch gears and talk about psychology. The education system is a stressful environment to exist in, especially when you factor in competition. Prioritizing oneself in this climate can be difficult. Initially, his antics are pretty funny. Compulsively hoarding pop culture magazines for studying is a ridiculous notion. As time goes on, the lighthearted tone fades into the background. Han influences Bobby in a pretty insidious manner so his daughter can enter a top-tier school. Sadly, the social pressure continues to mount. The way people view us can dramatically change our self-perception. Bobby's talent comes from his carefree nature. Once his buddies start putting high expectations on him, his psyche falls apart. One of the biggest problems in families is the minimization of hardships. This episode has a powerful message for those with children. Parenting is extremely difficult. Taking care of little demons is an around-the-clock job. We all become apathetic towards previous difficulties as we mature. Despite our disregard, let's try recalling how we felt in these scenarios. All of our problems should be heard out and treated with respect. Even though failing a test isn't a death sentence, there can be lasting consequences. Watch how Hank scoffs at Bobby's very real pain. All of us have felt this way at some point. Recognition goes a long way, which we'll find out later. So how does Bobby's mental health change over time, and how realistic is this depiction? As the competition heats up, he begins having panic attacks and eventually passes out. Telling the story through a media narrative helps the audience understand the pressure. We comprehend just how much information is at Bobby's disposal. Pop culture is important to our lives. Every piece of content we consume has influences from our collective history. Having anxiety is a normal part of studying, but we can't ignore how we feel. I was shocked at how similar Bobby's experience was to my own. Every morning, I would wake up shaking with anxiety before university. So many people from around the world suffer from similar issues. Anxiety can manifest in numerous shapes and forms throughout our lives. When we write off the problems of others, we deprive ourselves of our greatest power. Empathy is such a meaningful way to cultivate a deeper bond with someone. We all want to be heard when experiencing sadness. Facing our problems alone can cause a downward spiral. King of the Hill offers a pretty nuanced perspective towards parenting styles. We can see the effects in real time of being ignored versus acknowledged. This amazing episode demonstrates the impacts of positive versus negative social resources. When Hank ignores his son's sadness, the outcome looks bleak. But after he listens to Bobby, the situation improves. On a fundamental level, Bobby forgot the value of enjoying media. Education is seen in the modern day as a means to an end. I must attend college so I can get a good paying job. Framing our worth in this way can have devastating consequences. When we only value our credentials, we forget our other amazing accomplishments. College is viewed as the only way forward, even though there might be better options for some people. But the most pernicious outcome of this thinking is the devaluation of education itself. School is primarily a means for enrichment. We learn valuable social skills. Diverse fields of study give us a more well-rounded perspective. A great professor can grow our appreciation for learning, which is eternally valuable. Education isn't about getting a bigger paycheck. Studying should be for our own self-betterment. Bobby's at his best when he's enjoying life. Our parents have a huge impact on our lives. Many adults put extra weight on their children's backs by setting unreasonable standards. Connie is always worried about performing exceptionally. Min and Khan constantly push their daughter and control her life. Hank, by contrast, is too lenient. Finding a healthy balance between the two is crucial. Having uplifting social resources can help us feel a little less stressed for success. Thanks for checking out this video. I really appreciate it. We all feel anxiety around big life events. The problems of young children seem trivial, but they can quickly pile up. Many kids have anxiety that they can't properly manage. Learning is a form of self-improvement we should try to enjoy. Social resources can elevate us in an indescribable way. Education lets us enjoy life to the fullest, but finding balance is important. What life lessons did you learn from King of the Hill? What episode is your favorite? I'd love to hear from you.